It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Come on in. I'm waiting for you. It is the Sunday setup. Come on in, come on in. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, good to see you. Blessed to be here. Welcome to the Sunday setup. I see y'all coming in. I appreciate you all for being here. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. So we're going to get started, get right into it. Again, you have come into the Sunday setup. I'm your girl, Dawn Michelle. Thank you so much for spending some of your Sunday with me. And as always, I want you to know that this is a safe space for all, and we are here for good vibes only. So let's get into it. How has your week been? Good evening. Hello there. How has your week been? I know my week was busy, a little interesting, a little trying at times, but I managed to make it through. I created my own piece of a great week. You know, sometimes you have to change your perspective on things, and that's exactly what I had to do. I'll just give you a little background. At work, some grown people didn't want to do what they are there to do, but it had to get done. And being in the position I'm in, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. I'm not always gonna do that, but you have to look at the bigger picture. So I went ahead. It took me way off schedule and added time that I did not want to go into the city and do certain things, but everything happens for a reason. So I went ahead and took care of it on my own and got it done, and then was recognized for stepping in and getting it done. So sometimes it may feel like you don't want to do it, but sometimes we got to suck it up and do it. So I did manage to create a great week for myself, and I hope that you did too. So it is Libra season, so shout out to all the Libras out there. I want to give a special shout out to my sister Regina. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday. I love you. Hope you had a great day. So shout out to all my Libras. I am a Leo, Team Leo all day, but you know, everybody's great. No, really, everybody's great. Love you all. So let's get into a little news from the past week. Rapper Coolio passed at the age of 59. I was not expecting that, but unfortunately, you hear a lot of people dying earlier these days. They say they don't believe any foul play was involved. So, 59. They said that they just saw him like a week before, he was fine, but people unfortunately could be here one day and gone the next. So shout out to Coolio's family and friends. We are praying that they are okay and they get through this time okay. And my favorite little man, any idea who my favorite little man would be? Let me stop. I shouldn't say that. Kevin Hart opened a new vegan restaurant in LA. Yes, he did. It's called Hart House. And he's trying to make it a chain restaurant. So I had mixed emotions about this. I'm going to be honest. I'm a slutty vegan girl for life. Anybody who's in Atlanta, or really if you're in the US, I'm sure you've heard of Slutty Vegan. It has a scandalous name, so it's very catchy. But Slutty Vegan, Pinky Cole is the owner of it. She, I believe she started out in Brooklyn, actually, and had a restaurant there. I believe there was a fire. She went through a whole bunch and then ended up here in Atlanta. She was working out of her food truck. She would have lines. Trust me, she would have lines at her food truck. I personally have stood in a line 3.5 hours for a one-night stand at that. So if you've never been, Slutty Vegan has some really interesting names to their menu items, like Hollywood hooker, one-night stand. Oh man, everything is really named really kind of crazy, but really delicious. I wouldn't wait online 3.5 hours more than once unless it was really good, and it was. So shout out to Kevin Hart. You got some competition out there, but I always feel like there's room for everybody. But Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan, that's my joint. So, and then Hurricane Ian came through with the vengeance. Shout out to everyone who was affected. I know it went through, I believe, Cuba and some of the Caribbean, and then it took land in Florida. Most of the west coast of Florida got hit really bad. I think we all saw it all over the internet. We saw it on the news. I have family in Florida as well, family and friends actually. Thankfully, their damage was minimal. You know, when you put it in perspective, some people have nothing. So if you lose a couple shingles off your roof, get a little tear in your pool screen, minimal. So we're thankful that it was not worse. We did have some work interruptions with my job, but you know, that's Florida, unfortunately. A lot of southern states and a lot of coastal communities have to be prepared for storms like that. I would love to have a beachside house. Like, we talk about it, like, oh, we want some beachfront property. However, there's things that come along with that. And then I don't know, I haven't researched it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of places, if they're in flood zones, are really hard to get insurance. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but if you're living in a place that is known to flood or is, you know, has a high chance of flooding, if you can get insurance, it's probably super expensive. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. For me, I think not. If I'm going to, you know, get a property that's somewhere near some water, I'm probably going to do it in like a high rise, because I heard about people on their first floor apartments lost everything. So just prayers out to everyone who is trying to rebuild from this hurricane, and, you know, just tell your loved ones you love them any chance you get. So, something big. I'm working on getting us a guest to talk about voting in the off season or midterm elections. And but in the meantime, because we're getting close to some of these cutoff dates, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about where you can go to find out for your state where you can vote, and also when you need to register by in order to be able to vote. And I learned some stuff today, so I'll go ahead and share it with you. So a couple of websites that are really good to go to: vote.gov and vote.org. I did not know that some states you can register to vote the same day as the election. Blew my mind. One of the states is Colorado, so you can register in person and then go ahead and vote. So I thought that was really kind of awesome. So again, vote.org or vote.gov. You can go and check and see the state that you live in, when the cutoff is to register, find out where your polling place is, because sometimes they move. You don't want to find that out on the day of, and you just got off work and you're trying to make it before they close. That's the wrong time to find out. So go to these websites or go to your local government site and find out exactly what the cutoff date is for registering, and make sure that you know exactly where you're going to vote the day of the election. Don't wait till the day of to try to figure that out. So we'll have more on that, and hopefully I'm really working on getting a guest. I'm not going to say her name, but I'm working on it. So bear with me. And then I think we'll get into a little bit of something I want to talk about today, a little topic, and I'll tie in our tips for the week there. So, pitfalls of weight loss and trying to eat right, do right, be better as we get older, and the pitfalls when you are not living alone. Because a lot of times you got parents, you're in a household, you're trying to cook for your family, you're trying to cook for your kids. Kids don't want all that good, healthy stuff most of the time. Some do. My nieces, my goddaughters, they do. They love carrots over some candy. But how do you handle that? Because I'm personally going through that here, and trying to figure out a good balance of how to stay on track with your own goals when it may not be the same for everyone in your household, because just because I'm doing it doesn't mean everybody else does, you know. So I thought about it and I was like, well, what are some of the ways that I can motivate myself and hold myself accountable? So I was talking to my best friend Tasha, and she was like, girl, find you one of your old pictures in your 2-piece and put it on your refrigerator. And I was like, that could work. Because anytime I scroll through my old photos and I see those photos when I loved how I presented, I also know I felt better too. I think about like, man, how can I get back to that? I've tried it all. I mean, I've never tried any surgery, definitely not going that route. But how can I keep myself motivated and stay on track? So these are some of the things that I'm going to try, and you can try what you like. You can give your suggestions in the comments if you want as well. So one, I was saying, put a picture of my goal self wherever I need to see it. So if that means I need to wake up in the morning and have a picture on my mirror in my bathroom, that's where I'm going to put one. If I need to have one on my refrigerator, if I need to have one on my pantry, that's where I'm going to put it. So my wife doesn't know this yet, but she's in here, so she knows now. I will be putting pictures around the house of what where I felt the healthiest. Because it's not just about how you look, it's also about how you feel. And as you get older, it does not get easier. Because I know prior to COVID, I probably worked out between 3 and 4 times a week, because I had a gym in my apartment building, and I was there like 5:30 every morning. That was my thing. I felt great about being in the gym. And then COVID happened. We got sent home from work and the gyms got closed, and I was like, takeout. What can I eat here? What can I eat there? And then, you know, being in love, and you got the love weight you put on and all that. And here we are, 2 years later, and it's still an issue. I have not been able to get over that hump and to get back into the consistent workout pattern. So for me, step 1, I'm putting those pictures up. They will be where I need them to be. Step 2, I have to keep healthy snacks or healthier snacks wherever I need them. So if that means I need to have them in my purse, I'm going to have some healthier snacks in my purse. If I need to stack my pantry with not just the other stuff, like if I got some regular old potato chips and then I have some chicken chips right next to them, I need them to be right next to each other. I need it to be in my face so that I understand it and I have that option. I have that choice. When you go in your kitchen and you go in your pantry and your refrigerator and you don't have the options that are good for you, you're gonna pick the other option, you know? So for me, it just makes sense. I have to stock and stash, even in my car, stuff that I know that I can eat, because it's real easy to pull into that drive-through, but make sure you have some healthier snacks on hand. The next thing I'm going to do is schedule some time every day. I may not be able to do it every day, but I'm going to put it on my work schedule. I'm putting it on my calendar, my Outlook work calendar. I will schedule time every day to get up from my desk and take a walk. That's the only way it's going to work for me. I need the people at work to know that this is my dedicated time. You know, because most of the time I don't get up for lunch. I don't. I eat at all kinds of weird hours, which is not the best. But I have to make that a priority for myself. So I will be putting time on my work calendar every day, even if it's a half an hour. Put it on your calendar and step away from your desk. Or if you're at work, put it on your calendar if you're in the office, because most of the time I get to work from home. But if I'm in the office, I'm putting that time on my calendar too, and I'm stepping away. Like, the world is not going to end when you're not at your desk for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You're entitled. Most people are entitled to a lunch. If you work somewhere and you're not entitled to a lunch, you got to find another way. But I will be putting that time on my schedule. You can do yoga. I need to get into yoga. I haven't tried it. I got all the yoga items here. Shout out to Juan for sending me a great yoga mat, a whole carrying case and everything. But I need to find time. And I think I make excuses because I have like an issue with my back, but she got issues too, and she jams it out. She really gets into her yoga. Juan, shout out to you. You're definitely a motivation. So yoga, walking, meditating, whatever you need to do, make sure you put time on your calendar and do that. And then another thing that I kind of just threw in here is fasting, intermittent fasting. I have tried it before, and it actually does make a difference. But like anything, you have to stick to it. So my best friend and I are going to do this whole little challenge for ourselves. We're going to be our accountability partners. So she lives in New York and I'm in Atlanta, and it's okay. It doesn't matter where your accountability partner is, get you one. So we are going to try this whole intermittent fasting thing together and see how that goes. So you do what works for you, do your research, find out what's best for you. So I'm going to do what I think works for me. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to try something else. But I'm going to keep going until it finally sticks. But I think, honestly, getting back to steady walking and eventually throwing some weight training in there, I think it'll start to make a difference. Because I know I felt better when I was a little less heavy. And it's not just about appearance, but everybody wants to look good. I will never say it does not have anything to do about looks. But for me, it's more about my health first, because I feel it in my knees. I do not have mega knees. I did once upon a time, but not anymore. And I think if I lose a little or get used to using all these joints again, it won't be as hard. So that is my plan. I think those were 4 tips I gave. So putting those photos of yourself where you're going to see them so that you can remind yourself that you've done it before. You can do it again. And then keeping snacks that are for you wherever you need them to be. If that means you need to keep it in your nightstand, you do what you got to do. If you need to keep it in your car console, your purse, and make sure you have the stuff that you want to see when you open the refrigerator or when you open your pantry, so that you can make those choices. Because sometimes I literally will stand there and talk myself through it. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, I literally will stand in the pantry with an attitude. And whose fault is it? It's mine, because I didn't buy what I needed. I go to the store and I'll get everything else, but sometimes I just don't think, you know what, make sure you have what you need in there. So I'm going to stock that pantry with what I need. I'm going to put that time on my schedule with work so that I can step away and take the time I need. And it's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing. Sometimes mentally you just need to get up and walk away. I know Alexa be behind here talking about it's time to get up, time to take a walk. And half the time I'm like, Alexa, I ain't got time. But I have to make time, because nothing changes if nothing changes. So I need to start making some changes. And then after scheduling that time, I'm also going to incorporate that intermittent fasting. So there's different types of intermittent fasting. You can do your research online and see what will work best for you. So, and yeah, I had a good week, and I hope to have another great week. Looking at my calendar over here, because I have a big dry erase calendar. I just put it up maybe a month ago, and it has done wonders for me to really map out my month and see what I have going on. And you can put on time in here, schedule yourself a date night. And if you're not with somebody, schedule yourself a date night anyway. It's okay to date yourself. Take yourself to a wonderful dinner. Nothing wrong with that. You got to take care of you and be ready for somebody else to come into your life. So, I will not be with you guys next Sunday, but I will be back on the 16th, hopefully with another great show with some good tips, some fellowship. And if at any time you guys want to drop a comment, or you want to go live, or you have something you want to talk about, please go on over to Inner Beauty ATL right here on Instagram. Send me a DM, send me a friend request. Let's follow each other. I'm all about supporting, because it does not take anything to hit that follow button. And then if your stuff, if I get on your page and you about the nonsense, then I just unfollow. But I think it takes nothing to follow. That is a big part of supporting. Obviously, you're following Swagger Magazine. I'm thankful to this platform as well. So I will see you back on the 16th for another episode of the Sunday Setup. So thank you so much for being here. I'm your girl, Dawn Michelle. Go ahead and create a great week.